Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options in Play video update. Earnings season is in full swing, and we are seeing some smaller than priced in moves. There have been some outliers, but really, I'm getting deja vu all over again. We talked about it during our most recent option session, how there's a lot of parallels forming between this quarter and what we did back in the April quarter. A lot of smaller than priced in moves. Again, there are some outliers, but a lot of, you know, just kind of generally speaking, some smaller than expected moves. And what that means is that you got to be really particular with what you do. Okay, you can't just go after every single name expecting like a monster move, and a pop or drop like twice what the options are pricing in. I mean, you have to be particular with the setups you target. And what's interesting is that like sometimes there are setups, especially in like a strong trending tape, that are uh, kind of like a risk averse, or they're targeting a catalyst but without the catalyst risk. So I'll just go over real quick. So it's just a ramp into the report, right? So what I like to call the ramp into the report is basically stocks that are at an area where they could see a run into the numbers. And there's really two things I look for. So it has to be like a nice combination of strong earnings history. So basically a solid 2, 3, even 4 week, 4 quarter stretch of just really strong, like beat and raise or beat and guide higher numbers. You just want to see like really nice consistency for a company that has it. Sometimes it might only need to be like 2 quarters, sometimes 3 quarters. Some stocks are just machines, and it's like 2 years in a row, 3 years in a row, like beat and raise. But then also what you want to see is a nice technical pattern that kind of lends itself to a bullish strategy, right? So then again, just prefacing this, like I'm talking about just the bull side here, but you could also look names on the opposite, right, on bear side. Maybe have had some weak numbers the last 2 quarters, a bearish setup, right? So what the ramp into the report is basically targeting is a move higher into the numbers, and basically people positioning for the event or maybe getting involved right ahead of the event start to kind of push things in your favor, right? So it's kind of like getting in ahead of the crowd, kind of anticipating that a name should start to garner more interest on the bull side as you get into earnings, and then people maybe kind of positioning on for that bullish pop if the stocks especially has a history of reacting well, or even if just like numbers have been strong and it's in like a strong chart. And that's why I think Cisco might be in that sweet spot right now, right? Because Cisco, as for a while was really not going, really wasn't doing a whole lot. It was just kind of chopping around sideways. But last year put together a nice quarter in the summer, pulled back, chopped around, had another nice print in the fall. Even though I mean that was kind of right when like the market started to fall apart, so it got overshadowed by the weakness. But then again this year, I mean, just really consistently delivering. And what you can see is from the last quarter, right here, again happened right during the middle of kind of May's weakness, right? But snap back, grinding consistently higher lows, right? And now it's just in like this really nice tight flag above previous resistance at 57, right? So tech is strong, the market's strong, right? This is coming off of basically 4 quarters in a row of just really solid prints, and the stock is in like a nice tight little technical setup right above key monthly resistance, right? So earnings are a few weeks off. They're more towards the middle of August. But this is one that kind of enters that sweet spot, right? So like this is a name that has a very consistent history, at least recently, of beating and raising. Sector strong, right? The overall market strong, and it's in a strong technical setup. So this is one where I'd be looking, maybe you try a trade through that earnings release, right? And if it starts to move higher ahead of time, then it gives some optionality. Either maybe you can like scale back risk, and say, okay, like the stock, the option moved in my favor. Maybe I want to like take off 50%, or maybe I want to like reduce the net debit by 50%. For example, or if it moves in your favor, maybe you could say like, okay, it's already pushed higher, and I don't want the event risk, and you can take it off. But one of the things that's interesting too is that typically like the day before or even like the day of, you'll start to see like a surge in option volume, and sometimes that can push the implied volatility up in your favor too. So that's why it's kind of interesting if you can target these patterns that you have like a maybe like a good premonition that they're going to get that ramp into the report, because then you can kind of get in ahead of time and maybe catch multiple things, maybe like a move in the stock, move higher in the options, and maybe to move higher implied volatility too, if especially like a name like Cisco where a lot of people are going to be interested in it, right? So again, kind of think outside the box. Not everything is just buying calls on a stock that you think is going to beat, or buying puts on a stock that you're going to miss. There's earnings season provides all these different opportunities, so it's just kind of like expanding the playbook. If the volatility is going to be a little bit lower, then maybe you want to think a little bit more outside the box, right? So maybe some of these moves ahead of time instead of like a move into the print or a move after the print. So take a look at Cisco, and definitely be on the lookout for more of these opportunities, because they can be some provide some nice trade opportunities, and sometimes if things work out the way you design it, you don't have to take the catalyst risk. All right. So questions, comments, I'd love to hear from you guys. So definitely reach out. Hope you have a wonderful night. Best of luck if you are playing anything, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.